Okay, welcome everybody. This is a landmark podcast, I think, for BRFCS, because you can see, for the first time, we're all in the same room at the same time. It's probably the last time that we'll ever do this, but circumstances have dictated and have given us that opportunity. So would you like to introduce yourselves by telling us when you first started supporting Rovers?
I'm Mike Delap, and I'm very sorry to everyone on camera 1 and camera 2. Yes, I'm not as good looking as you would possibly imagine that I am. I first started supporting Blackburn in the early 90s. My first game was on our esteemed host Ian Herbert's wedding day. I won't go over a year because I'll get it wrong. It was Blackburn 7, Norwich 1, and I'm pleased to say every game's been just as good as that from then on. 3rd of October 1992, funnily enough. I do actually remember that. You go.
Hi all, I am Jen. Started supporting Rovers when I was about 4 or 5. First match was a little bit later versus West Ham in the late 80s.
Hi, I'm Linz. Supported Rovers forever since Tim Flower's mum and dad took me to my first game and been going ever since.
I'm Scott Sumner. Probably recognise me from standing on a street corner flogging fanzines. But yeah, I've been a Rose fan since 1992, which was my first game.
Hi, I'm Michael, and my first game was 1977, Leighton Orient at home, September. I've been a Rovers fan ever since.
Young Matt.
My first game was 2010 when I was 6, and I've enjoyed it ever since.
Good lad.
I'm Stuart Grimshaw. My first game will have been sometime in the early 80s. My dad used to sneak us in. Me and my brother used to pay for one of us and push us both through the turnstile.
You do realise this is on video. We cannot condone criminality. And last but by no means least.
Hello, I'm Louis. I started supporting Rovers in 2004, 2005, and I've loved it ever since. Never looked back.
This is your podcast panel, ladies and gentlemen. So the way that we're going to do this podcast is in the Blackburn Rovers Santa's Stocking of Joy, we have a random series of questions. We also have 3 Defend the Indefensibles. So you draw a question out at random and you have the choice of playing that question or passing to somebody if you think that they might have a better answer. Or if you just don't want to do the Defend the Indefensible. One of them is an absolute corker. I hope it comes out. So I'm going to start by asking Mike, and then you can choose the next person after you to pull one out. So deep into Santa's Blackburn Rovers Stocking of Joy.
Or Doom.
Or Doom.
Yeah.
Where are they?
Right at the bottom in the toe, naturally. Just pull one out. He's got to defend the indefensible!
It's a Defend the Indefensible. Just like to go on record as saying Ian's handwriting is terrible.
It is, I can read it out.
I'd quite like to nominate Michael Taylor for this one.
Pass it over.
Alright, okay. As we fail to sell out the stadium, Ewood Park should be sold and we should share with Accrington Stanley.
Okay, so you've got 20 seconds to defend that obviously indefensible position, starting from now.
Well, the players always say that they like to play in front of a full house. They love to hear the roar of the crowd. They love to be able to feel the energy from the crowd. So why not move to the Crown Ground? Why not have an absolutely packed full with 1,850 fans every week roaring them on?
That's not bad, actually. 18 seconds, what do we think of that?
Oh, very good.
Could be today's winner then if we get another Defend the Indefensible. So Michael, you have the pleasure of nominating who the next person is to take one out of Santa's Stocking of Joy.
Linz.
Oh.
Well prepared with a beverage.
Most consistent player in 2018.
So most consistent, in other words, might not be the best, but the one that
Do we
usually
mean
gives
boring?
you the 7 or 8 out of 10 performance game in, game out. Who do you think?
You can nominate me for it if you want.
Everyone nominates.
I thought about it.
See, consistent, I feel, is boring, but my initial answer is Raya, so I'm sticking with him.
It's a good
but
answer.
He's consistently brilliant, and I love him, and I don't give him enough praise because I'm either defending Ben Berriton or stalking Craig Conway. But actually, on reflection, I'm going to spend more time praising Raya because he is amazing, and there's a world-class save every game that gets missed in the Furore. So yeah, Raya, and I might even get myself a goalkeeping shirt, 4th shirt of the season.
Anybody else?
I was gonna have a go at Elliot Bennett personally from the outfield lot. I mean, again, it probably falls into the 7 out of 10 category every week, but after you criticised him in 2017, 2018 has been a bit of a rebirth for him. I think.
As has Bradley Dack.
Yeah, exactly. Just really need you to get stuck into them and they'll be fine. But yeah, I just thought he'd be a good shout because he always turns in a pretty solid performance wherever he's deployed.
Right, Linz, you have the pleasure of nominating the next person then.
It's got to be my fellow female podder.
Right, easy peasies. 2018 Rovers Player of the Calendar Year. Ooh. See, Player of so far this season is easy.
And Player of last season is easy.
Is it the same one?
That one? No, it's not because we signed him in the summer.
Oh, naturally.
Ginger Ninja gets so far this season, 2018. My heart says Bennett. That one. Just consistently, and he's passionate, and I'm proud that he wears our shirt.
Anybody else?
I put both of those. I got the same. Reed and Bennett.
I don't think you can look past Bradley Dack. I think Mike mentioned in the end of year podcast last year, didn't you, that it's the first time we've had the best player in a division
since Shearer.
When we're in League One, since Shearer. And then I think he's a couple of dips, but he's pretty much continued that through in a high level.
Louis, who would your player for this calendar year be?
Bradley Dack's the obvious one because he's just been such a revelation. But I would have argued Mulgrew or Lenihan as well. I think obviously as they get many plaudits, but even then it feels like they're just massively underrated because those two are just so vital to. I mean, not with the defensive woes at the moment, but they just stand out.
Mulgrew for his goals alone. I mean, if he was an attacking midfielder, you'd still say that was a good return. Frankly,
this stat got researched. He scores just over 1 every 4 games, which for a centre back is absolutely mental.
Chris Brown would have killed for that.
Yeah.
1 every 4 seasons.
It's funny you should mention Chris Brown because when this came up, my and Matt's minds both went the opposite way. So our most consistent players were both consistently bad.
Are you willing to name and share?
I don't think we should. I don't think it's fair, but that's where we first went.
It's an interesting way of viewing the question, certainly.
I think that says more about us than the question.
Possibly just the way we're feeling after Boxing Day.
I think it's hard to frame it given it's 2018. Because it was like bouncing into the good run up to winning promotion and then starting the season quite well. And I think if you just take a snapshot of that, I think Evans has been fairly consistent. His form really lifted from January last year, and even against Leeds the other day, I thought he put his foot on the ball. He was box to box. So I thought Evans over 2018.
Right, so Jen, thank you for that. You can nominate someone who's not been there to answer the next question.
I'm going across to Stuart.
So fingers crossed he gets a DTI.
And then pops it on Michael Taylor.
I've got best young player in 2018, under 23. So
possibly already mentioned it.
I had to check he was still under 23, and he is just. And I think my best young player has been Joe Rothwell. I'm always quite disappointed when he's not playing. And my favourite players are always midfielders, and he's that kind of midfielder that I like. And he's attacking. He reminds me a lot of somebody like, and I'm not going to put him in the same bracket, but he's the same kind of player as Paul Scholes. He's not a defensive midfielder. He's a proper out and out attacking midfielder, and I can tell by the look on your faces that you're dying to chip in.
Louis?
No, I mean, personally, I would have said Travis. I absolutely adore him. I think he doesn't get nearly enough chances, and if the rumours are to be believed that he's going on loan in January, I think that's a massive mistake. I think he's possibly good enough to sit on our bench, especially with the sort of a bit of an injury crisis we've got at the moment in midfield. But again, I agree, Rothwell doesn't get Rothwell should play a lot more, and it's bizarre how he is.
But you were such an early adopter of Rothwell, you'd have him for best opposition player because you spotted him when we played Oxford.
Oh, did you? I'll take credit for that, Simon.
Mowbray did say about expanding the scouting network out.
Well, it's got an eye for these players.
How old's David Raya?
I don't know.
23, I think.
Is he just over 23?
I have one. You say about favourite players, mine are always the fullbacks. And Nyambe.
Yes.
I always quite enjoy the ones who are getting a bit of a kicking from time to time for not being that good, but are just simply finding their way around the football pitch a bit. I think he's got a lot of raw potential. Admittedly needs harnessing, but
Tremendous athlete.
Absolutely. I think it was at Rotherham the other week when he came on as sub in the second half.
Yeah, transformed the game.
Unbelievable. He was like better than everybody else combined.
Yeah, absolutely. Good call. That one.
Potential.
Just turned 21 as well. Didn't we forget?
I was just waiting for someone to say he's actually 27.
What do you mean it's 2018? No, Mike, where have you been? Okay, thanks for that, Stuart. You get to pass the Santa's stocking of joy.
I'm going to pass it to Louis.
Oh, thank you.
This means Matt's going to get a defending event.
Yeah.
Biggest disappointment of 2018.
This isn't necessarily a player, by the way. It could just be the situation, just in case there are any libel lawyers or something.
No, Brereton's out of the question. No, Boxing Day possibly, or because that was even when we got relegated, I wasn't that just sort of drained from a football game because. I mean, when we got relegated, that's what we were driving back, and we were just like, oh, well, we cannot go to all these new ground sections.
You were leading up to it, though. Your expectations were structured for a long period of time, weren't they? Whereas...
Well, I think Wigan at home, I think that was 2018, wasn't it, Wigan at home? Just this absolutely dominant performance in the first half. I think I remember saying to you that we could beat these 5-6-0. These are god awful. How are these top of the league? And it was just the total crumbling of it, and just the Wigan being so much better than us in that second half. And that's when we sort of knew it's like, we'll go up, but we're not going to win this.
Yes.
Oh well, we've come up and we're doing better than them now, so it's all right.
Fancy us throwing away a 2-goal lead. Good job that didn't happen again. Then,
I know, it's all right. I've managed to sort those problems out.
Yeah, that's good.
A lesson well learned. I'm going to jump in here. Bristol Rovers away. One of those games where you spend the whole second half thinking 1-0 up and looking pretty comfy, but I'd pay quite a lot of money for a second goal there. And even then they didn't look at all threatening, and then obviously it's just absolutely hit of a lifetime right at the end. There's been so many games, well, particularly this season, I think, since going up, we've struggled to win by more than a single goal. So the Sheffield Wednesday game, when the fourth one went in, it actually gave us about 45 seconds where we were going to enjoy the game without any sort of fear or trepidation, which is most unusual. Thanks for that. Do you want to pass the Santa's sock on?
That's right.
So we've just got Matt and Scott now. If it's a DTI, you can play or pass, don't forget. No, it isn't. Okay. It's a question.
Favourite moment of 2018, not in Doncaster? I think it's got to be the Danny Graham hat-trick against Sheffield Wednesday, because the amount of messages that I could send to my friends after that game.
And just for the uninitiated, Stuart, myself, Mike and Matt, we all live in Sheffield, so obviously that had a particular resonance for Matt at school.
Very happy moment when he got his hat-trick, and they're all complaining. It's like they were all tap-ins, but they all counted at the end of the day. We got the win, and that was quite spectacular. I enjoyed that.
Excellent, a great answer. And I think it was a great performance. That probably our best performance this season from an attacking perspective. I'm still not sure how we conceded 2 goals in that game.
Well, the first one was some belter.
Yeah, Lucas Jarlow.
Yeah, and it was like, where was that?
Where did he pull that one out from his locker? Marvellous. Right, so let's pass on to Scott. Is the last person? I'm going to make you do another DTI if you don't come on. Yes, he's got it! Good,
I can play my wild card. I don't pass it on now, can't I?
I'll play the chairman's card and give you another one. Go on, what have you got?
Oh, no. Let's, go on, Mikey.
The minute you offered a hand before, he's not going to take the bite there. Okay, when Tony Mowbray leaves, you might have to help it. I, for one, would welcome back Owen Coyle or Steve Keane to finish what they started?
You have 20 seconds to defend that obviously indefensible position, starting from now.
Yeah, so Steve Keane, Owen Quayle, they've contributed to this demolition job, and like every good demolition job, you need to come back every so often and just check that the destruction has unfolded the way you imagined. If it's not finished, get in there, plant a few bombs, blow stuff up, and get out of there. Perfect crime.
Very good, very good. That's the one I was hoping would come out. Well nominated. You can have another one then, Scott, given that you didn't actually answer a question. You pull out the last remaining DTI now, you have to do this one.
Most enjoyable game of 2018. I think without doubt it's the game in October at the Hawthorns, because we'd had all that struggle last season being, you know, with lower level teams, then suddenly we were back playing a team who had just come down from the Premier League. I remember it was an absolutely freezing day, the first signs of winter coming. First half was, we conceded, but then the second half was just one of the most enjoyable performances I've ever seen.
I've never seen such guts and determination.
I know, and it's exactly the reason we go for football matches. Sometimes it might be a 0-0, sometimes it might be a 3-0 defeat, but it's days like that which you'll recount in 20 years' time. The day when the Ginger Ninja curled in an absolute belter from 30 yards to get us back into the game. Then David Raya got kicked in the head. Richie Smallwood went in goal because we'd used all the 3 subs, and we hung on, time wasting, using every awful tactic in the book, and it felt like the biggest win ever, and it was just an absolutely brilliant day. So,
and after the game, I want to bring Matt in at this point. Anything interesting happened after the game?
Well, we're on our way back to the car, and there's a McDonald's there, and there's the captain, Charlie Mulgrew, waiting for a taxi to turn up outside McDonald's.
So we had a photograph taken.
Yep.
Well, you had a photograph taken with him, and let's say it was quite surreal. This was about, because we waited, because Matt still had his dodgy leg at that point. We waited for about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
For the gate to open to let us take the short route across the car park to get to the car, and then there's Mulgrew, full club tracksuit, stood outside Mackie D's on his mobile phone. Quite surreal. A number of Rovers fans spotted him, but yeah, then we got a photo.
What did he order though? Did anyone?
A taxi, I believe.
At least just 4 chicken nuggets as a placeholder until you get home or something.
I thought he was a vegan now.
Part-time vegan.
Is it?
The chips count.
What did he tell you, Matt? Did he give you any tips on taking free kicks around?
No, not really, no.
He didn't even tell us why he'd gone off injured, did he?
Well, I think we just sort of said, you know, how bad is it, whatever, and he kind of like, it gave a sort of grimace which suggested that he wasn't going to be ready quickly, and sure enough he wasn't. I think he missed the next couple of games, didn't he, as well, but it was all surreal. It was, well, obviously with the rules changing around the number of substitutions, the chances of seeing an outfield player go in goal now is slim to none, and when it happens it's just such high comedy. And Smallwood, bless his cotton socks, he was hilarious, wasn't he, in that cross that he sort of like completely flapped out, that we had 3 clearances on the line as a result while he was getting off his backside. It was just absolutely tremendous stuff, and it was cold.
I always think, to be fair, if you're flapping around and making it look terrible, it's almost like putting them off a little bit, distracting them,
Potentially. Right, I think everybody's had a question. There is still one DTI left in there.
There's one person that hasn't had a question.
No
As I
passing
said, everybody's had it. I'm going to call the DTI.
No binning it off anyone else. His name might start with an M.
That's not the DTI, thank God for that. Most improved Rovers player of 2018. I think we've already mentioned him. In fact, there's probably 2 nominations I would put forward. One is David Raya, and the other is Ryan Nyambe. I think Raya, well, he still needs to improve his kicking and his distribution, but I think in terms of shot stopping and reflexes, the best we've had since Friedel. And Nyambe, we've talked about already. I think I can remember as Barnsley on Boxing Day, the year we went down, and he looked great going forward and horrific defending. He was getting caught out time and time again. I thought there's something there, but he's not ready yet. But this year, I think he's come on leaps and bounds. So he will be my most improved Rovers player of 2018.
Good choice.
Well done, everyone. So that's the end of part 1. We're going to take a little break now, and when we come back in part 2, we're going to play Name That Rover. Does anybody want to do the DTI? Because
I'm just interested. I don't want to do it. I'm just being nosy.
I think Jen's got some DTI potential here.
Does anybody fancy doing it?
So what we got? Do you want me to read it? Let's see what we've got here. You definitely want to do this. It's not your boy here. Harrison Reed is only at Rovers for self-promotion. He should be sent back to Southampton on the 1st of January.
Not going there.
I mean, I'll have a go at it.
Do you want to go at that? Okay, just while we said we're going to have a break, we just had a look at the last remaining Defend the Indefensible, and Matt fancies having a go at it because he's the furthest distance away on the sofa from the So, Matt, would you like to read out the DTI and then Matt can have a go at it?
Jen would swear a lot on this one. Harrison Reed is only at Rovers for self-promotion. He should be sent back to Southampton as soon as the 1st of January hits.
So, Matt, you have 20 seconds from now.
Well, he's come in summer. He's done well. He's scored a magnificent goal, as we mentioned earlier, against West Brom, and I think it'd be good for any player to go out on a high. He's done well for us. He's got us some key points in the season. He's done well, but like Dominic Samuel last year, you start well. It'll go bad towards the end, I think.
Fantastic. Well done, Matt. Jen, any thoughts and observations?
Remember, he's on crutches, so.
Where's the music coming from?
I don't know whether Michael picked that up, but we shall see. That's the end of part 2B then. We'll be back in part 3 with Name That Rover.
Please, can it be called that? That's obviously one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
It's all going a bit Dominic.
It's all gone a bit Dominic. Oh, brilliant.
Brilliant, well done.
That was
a real highlight.
Oh.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to our final part then. We have panellists in the room, face-to-face podcast. Welcome, everyone. So before we get into Name That Rover, I did ask on the forums and on Twitter for some feedback around highs and lows for the season. So I just want to read some of those out. We've covered some of them as we've answered those questions. But on the forum, Neil Weaver, after a season of sparsely populated Ewood, a high for me was the sight of a nearly full ground for the Oxford game, which I think we'd all endorse, and certainly Steve Waggett would. Old Greg86 on the forum, after Doncaster, I remember never being so cold away as I was at Wimbledon. You went to that game, didn't you, Michael? Yeah, how cold?
Very cold. Yeah, but I was warmed by someone had drawn a cock and balls BRFCS in snow on every car from the station to the ground.
It was you, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't.
It was you.
Who were you run ahead?
Blackburn Rovers 2288. For all the Doncaster joys, the game that sticks in my memory was the Peterborough game. Down and soundly getting a bashing at half time. Looked like we were going to have the wheels come off. Dak and Graham stepped up. That was a good night. Philip L on the forum. The low, Doncaster at home. Thought we're headed for League Two. Yeah, I don't think you're alone in that, actually. The high, Shrewsbury's home defeat to Rotherham on the 17th of February. After we got that win at Pompey 3 days previously. We had a run of 3 winnable games. Blue Boy 3333, Shrewsbury at home. Smallwood and Bennett battered them. That was a great day, actually. I think I genuinely started to believe after that game. Den 9112 beating Posh at home on that Thursday night, and Doncaster obviously being one of the highs. He went to Southend, the Southend defeat, as I had family down there. Not a good evening in one of the town restaurants. And then S8 and Blue on the forum. I won £250 when Dak's 93rd minute goal went in. That would be the Peterborough game. Never thought I'd come down from the ceiling. 5 days later at Donny and went through the roof. On Twitter, somebody called Mike Delap said, I don't know whether it's worth reading his view out, actually. I know he's referring to the 2014 season.
Good times.
Highs, the crowd reaction to Bradley Dack's wrap-up goal against Peterborough, so that's a recurring theme, and we've talked about it already. Richie Smallwood in goal at West Brom. Lows, Preston, Wigan, and then Leeds. Bill Arthur, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to Bill. Thanks for your contributions to the pod. The sense of community and team spirit returning to the club, connecting with supporters far and wide through social media. Lows, unrealistic expectations and overreaction to losses by supporters. Mike, you've had your say on that in previous pods.
I'll go again. Cue me in.
Coming off another long run-up. James Wilcock on Twitter, another high, the media team of Ryan Grant and Warren Lucy. I think we've given Ryan lots and lots of praise during the year. He did a fantastic job, and obviously Warren is keeping the flag flying there. Somebody called Linz Lewis on Twitter said, Waltz all the way. Bournemouth, my favourite away day of this season. Leeds at home and my Blue Eyes video. I think that's a very personal one to you, obviously. Lows, people on the pitch. People on the pitch, I will say. We have youngsters in the room. Against Oxford, Wigan and Preston. Oh, sorry, the Wigan and Preston spankings. And Ben Brereton bringing out the worst of folk. Simon Fish on Twitter, highs, achieving promotion is the obvious choice, but the togetherness the side shows. After seasons of players seemingly not giving a damn, Mowbray seems to have instilled a work ethic, absolutely. Fred Cumsty on Twitter, hi, the return, however fleeting in the club's history, to the shared euphoria of achievement and success on the field. It certainly was. I found it really interesting actually talking to Tom Schofield about, because he said that's the best night he's had as a Rovers fan, being that next generation now, and similarly for Matt, some of us old soaks that go back to the 70s. It was really nice to see people have a moment of enjoyment. Fred's low, the ever-present spectre of supporters' ridiculous and unrealistic expectations for the club. I think that's a recurring theme. Russell Prescott, the high for me is getting to watch Bradley Dack week in, week out. That's probably a sentiment that I think Michael certainly shares. Rovers Chat replied, highs that night at Doncaster, obviously. Armour's late goal at Portsmouth. And Stoke when Berahino smashed that penalty against the bar. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Lows, Leeds away, hurt me massively. Wigan and Preston, that's the theme that's coming up again. James Wilcock had another go. Highs, the way we've adapted back to life in the Championship. We finished where we are now, it's a successful season. Lows, fickle fans. Somebody called Jem Bellamy quite liked a guy called Harrison, what's it called, Harrison Road, is that Harrison Road? Highs, team spirit, said Jen. Lows, supporters' lack of it on social media. Mega highs, promotion. Monumental highs, Ginger Ninja, of course. Ian Anthony on Twitter, friendliness of snaff at away matches. Literally bent over backwards to help us in any way possible at Bury, Rochdale and Charlton Athletic, that would be. Martin Heppenstall on Twitter, high was the Shrewsbury game at Ewood, began to believe promotion was on. Yeah, me too, I shared that. Peterborough's mentioned again by Dave Fielding. Dom Hotwood, Richie Smallwood's goal at Fleetwood away, I'm not sure that was in 2018 if I'm being... January. Just, all right, I take that back, Dom, you're absolutely right. Lows, Oldham away, that was definitely 2017. High, Leeds at home, low, Leeds away, that's from Mike Pinkerton on Twitter. Another one from Dave Wodge, throwing 3 points away at Leeds. Drunk Maths, the last 4 minutes yesterday is definitely the low of the year. Jonathan Rogers, the home victory against Shrewsbury was a pivotal game. So lots of themes emerging there. There's one here that I have to read out. Modesty won't forgive me. Jonathan Secker. Highs, discovering the BRFCS podcast. Well, bless you. Just tell your friends, and the tenors in the post. Smallwood in goal at West Brom. Mo Jaffa, the lows, the Muppets have invaded the pitch with their families 5 minutes before the final whistle at home versus Oxford. I mean, what about the Muppets invaded the pitch at Doncaster? I mean, we can't condone that.
But that was after the whistle.
Yeah.
Well, there was a girl with a big yellow coat on and a beard.
Even so, I still think we should have a go at people that invaded the pitch at Doncaster.
I don't.
Just for the comedy value. Super. So thanks for all that feedback, people that replied on Twitter and on the forum. That was terrific. So what we're going to do now is Name That Rover. So we have 3 Name That Rovers from different eras, recognising the different age groups in the room. The rules of the game are, You shout out "stop" if you think you know the answer. If you get it wrong, you can't have the next guess. You've got to let somebody else have the next guess. Are you ready?
As I'll ever be.
Ready to go first, get it wrong, and then set the rest of the game out. Yeah.
The overwhelming enthusiasm in the room, I hope that's really coming through on the pod.
Try to grab it. Sorry.
Okay, number one. I was born on the 12th of January 1970 at Wiston in Lancashire. I began my career with Crew Alexandra even, in 1988.
Stop. Is it Mark Atkins?
No.
That's a good guess.
In 1996-7, I suffered relegation, but was part of a team that lost in the FA Cup final.
I think I know the team that was in that, but...
Oh, stop. Craig Ignat.
Your man! If I had to guess somebody that might have got that, my money was on you, Scott. The next clue was I joined Rovers in 2000 from Barnsley. I made 53 appearances, scoring 8 goals, including one in that game against Burnley. I played in the League Cup final team that beat Spurs, and I'm currently the director of football at Hartlepool. Craig Hignett, ladies and gentlemen.
Just remember then he was a Scouser, wasn't he? Yeah.
Was that a FA Cup game, the Middlesbrough one, where Di Matteo scored?
Yeah.
After about 2.5 seconds.
Lost the cup final and relegated in the same season.
I think I was being massively kind to Mark Atkins as well. I think he was
from
right the
Rangers,
year after me.
If you're listening, Mark, you're welcome as a guest.
We're sorry, Mark.
Okay, second, name that rover. I was born on the 16th of August 1981. I made my first team senior debut, not at Rovers, at the age of 15. I joined a Bundesliga side in 1999. I made 155 appearances, scoring 31 goals for Bayern Munich.
Stop. Marcus Babbel.
No.
Ooh,
What a shout.
wow, that's terrific.
I joined Rovers.
Wrong though.
Rocky Santa Cruz.
Your man. You're not worthy.
Wow.
2 out of 2. Can he make it the
On
hat
for the clean
trick?
sweep there.
Okay. The third and final, name that rover. I was born on the 23rd of March 1991 in Sagunto. I represented Spain at under 17, under 18 and under 19 age group levels.
Stop. Right.
No. Boom. I signed for Rovers on the 31st of January 2011.
Ooh.
Stop. Ruben Rashina.
3 out of 3! And that's why he edits 4,000 holes.
We are not worthy.
So there we go. We are not worthy.
Treble.
If you want Scott on your pub quiz team, if there's a Rovers round,
Yeah.
that would be
There
very,
is.
very
Rovers
sensitive.
round.
There is a Wayne's World GIF heading your way
Yeah.
on social media.
That was excellent. So thank you very much, everyone, for your contributions, not only
You
today.
missed out a word there. That was excellent. Scott.
Yeah.
That was excellent, Scott. Thanks very much for your contributions today, everyone. We're recording this before the Sheffield United game, just in case we haven't given the game away, so we're all off down to Bramall Lane shortly. It's been unusual but interesting and different, and I think really enjoyable doing it face to face. It's a different experience. Not that logistics allows us to do this every time. But thank you very much once again, chaps. Thank you much for listening, viewing, or however you're taking this podcast. And hopefully we'll be back with more in 2019. But until then, thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you, Ian.
You're listening to the BRFCS podcast, the only podcast approved to cover the 2018-2019 season by the New York City Rovers. Don't forget to check out www.brfcs.com.
By by the way, massive thank you to Joe Bamford, BRFCS forum member, and his band The Symmetry for providing all the incidental music used in this episode. I hope you'll look them up on Facebook, and if they're playing live near to you, well, go and see them.